at times they even say that education is not on the same level as them because they're not being educated by professional teachers that went through the educational system and are qualified to teach our students. But homeschooling has the opposite argument. They say that public schooling is too vague and that they can't possibly focus on the hundreds and hundreds, sometimes even thousands of students that they have. But maybe both sides have a point. So the history, according to the U.S. Department of Education, approximately 770,000 students in the U.S. are homeschooled at the moment. And it's a long tradition, obviously, that has began since even before schools were established professionally, because parents would teach their children what they had, and then this was always what was deemed regular. And today we're going to be speaking about modern homeschooling. So this is more about like recently in the 1970s when the reformation started being made and there was strict regulations. You couldn't just pull your kid out of school and say that you were teaching them whatever you wanted. And this obviously began because a lot of people thought that the school was being oppressive and basically shutting down children's beliefs and not really letting them be creative or expand the way that they needed to. And so the reason that it's very popular nowadays, it's because, as I said earlier, that you can pull your kids aside and teach them really what you want them to know. Because some people, as soon as they have their children, they know they want to be an engineer or, say, a chef. Then they can start teaching them the basic skills for that specific subject. They don't want them to waste time with mathematics or art if that's not what they want them to be. And actually, according to the National Home Education Research Institute, there are about 2.3 million home educating students in the U.S. This is up from one estimate that there were about 2 million. So in the spring of 2010, it appears homeschooling will continue to grow at about 2 to 8% per year. This is a huge increase as public schools shrink and the funding is going down. Then that means the quality of education in public schools may not be on par with the homeschooling, which has varying ranges in prices. And a lot of people ask why homeschooling? Well, the easy ones are no bullying, right? Like if your kid isn't around other kids, they have low chances of getting bullied. But then the counter argument to that would be, then how does he learn to deal with adversity in his life? But the independence that is created through homeschooling is not something I believe can be established in public school necessarily, because through homeschooling you get a textbook. It's more like college-based almost, but at a much younger age. And the questions and focus on them specifically allows them to grow as an individual, as well as maybe even make networking connections at such a young age. And some results from homeschooling are, according to NHERI, homeschool students score above an average achievement on tests regardless of their parents' income or level of formal education. This one is a really interesting statistic because, as a lot of people know, sometimes it's difficult for low-income families to go to public schools because they don't necessarily have the equipment or the dedication to go to school because they're more focused on money or whatever else they might be worried about at the moment. But the counterpoint of the public schools that it deters socialization isn't really fair, because there's actually a lot of ways nowadays where you can go out and meet people, right? Like at a young age, you can, like, obviously parks, museums, even church. But at an older age, there's even like Tinder nowadays. So it's not really like you're shut in. And one more fact. They were commonly referred to as satanic hothouses, according to Knowles. And this is because a lot of times the public schools are seen as a sinful place. So a large majority of the people which are homeschooled are people that are religious and they don't want their ideas mingling because sometimes they might contradict others. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's all about what the parents deem necessary for their own children. And so homeschooling is an alternative that is available to everybody and has been legal for quite a while now. But what are the costs and what do the children actually lose in their life experiences, and can they gain this back again if they do miss out? Homeschooling has come a long way from where they began. Although parents choose to homeschool their kids for many different reasons, there's no denying the fact that there is an increase and there is advantages to homeschooling. Could this be the future of education, or is it a mistake that we are currently making?